Morning everybody. Today I'm going to show you how I clean up a fox skull. So the first step you got to do to clean this skull is we're going to clean as much meat off this as we can. So I've scraped the top of it off, I removed the eyeballs, removed the tongue, took a lot of the meat off this. Just speeds the process up and we can take more of it off now. Next thing we're going to do is put them down into the beetle tank. So I usually put them down in there and then cover them up with a cloth. It just seems to make the beetles a little more eager to go onto it. So leave them in there and check on them in the morning and see how it looks. Okay, it's the next morning. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, I did a pretty good job on him overnight. It's looking pretty clean already. So stick him up on the de-beetling rack over here. Give those beetles a chance to come off of them and then move on to the next step. Took the fox off the rack. Most of the beetles are off it. There's a couple last stragglers calling out, but you're never going to get all of them. So the next step is the degreasing and whitening stage. So for that, I just put a bunch of Dawn dish soap all over that skull. I'll add some peroxide. Fair decent amount. And then I take a kettle of boiling water and pour that in there. Just like that. Trying to turn that skull upside down, trying to get it to fill up with as much water as I can because that keeps it submerged. See the air bubbles coming out of it there. There, so it's fully submerged in that boiling peroxide Dawn dish soap water. So I'll leave it in there overnight and I'll come check on it in the morning and see how it looks. Here's the fox after coming out of the water. It looks pretty good overall. It lightened up quite a bit with just the peroxide and Dawn dish soap water, but get it a little bit whiter. We're going to put some peroxide directly on this and that should really brighten it right up. I'm going to put some peroxide on this guy now. I just use the 40 volume peroxide, so make sure lots right down into the nose. If you don't, it'll look kind of weird if the inside of the nose isn't lightened up, but the rest of it is. So yeah, and then I just use a paintbrush and cover that whole skull with this stuff. Try and get some down inside brain cavity as well. Inside there. Make sure if you're doing this, you're wearing gloves. This peroxide really burns if it gets on your hands, so if you're not wearing gloves, you will very quickly be running to the sink and rinsing this stuff off. So it is not healthy for you. So make sure you get it in all the little nooks and crannies. That's why I like using the paintbrush, because you can kind of get down inside some of those places a little bit better. So something like that. The lower jaw, same thing. Just make sure you get that peroxide totally covering it, every bit of it here, and then we'll leave this sit overnight. We'll take a look at it tomorrow morning and see how it's whitening up. This guy already looks pretty good, so I doubt he's going to need another coat, but we will find out in the morning. Okay, we've got the peroxide on the skull now. It's looking pretty good. So we're going to take some boiled water, pour that over top of the skull. that. I'm gonna do a really good job of rinsing. Make sure we get all the peroxide out of there. Swish it back and forth, helps get it out of the nasal bones. Cleans any last minute bugs that might still be hiding somewhere deep in there too. You can see a couple of them floating around in the water, but that's looking decent. So skulls always darken up when they're wet like this, and they'll lighten up as they dry. So we'll get this guy put into a fan, dry it up a bit, and then we'll see how it looks. I don't think it's going to need another coat of peroxide. I think once he's dried out, this is going to lighten up really nicely. Here's the final fox skull, all cleaned up and whitened. I love using the beetles. You can see all the nasal bones are all still intact. Very happy with the way this skull turned out.